There's always been this sort of unwritten rule in the car world. It's a physics problem, really. You can have a massive luxury fortress on wheels, or you can have efficiency. But you can't really have both.
It's the classic trade-off. Weight is just the absolute enemy of range. So if you want to build a house on wheels, you're going to be stopping for fuel or, for a charge pretty often.
Right. But today we're looking at a vehicle that kind of looks at the laws of physics and just says, no thanks. We are diving into the 2026 Cadillac Escalade IQ and the IQL.
The epitome of full-size luxury EV SUVs. That's the term I keep seeing in the source material.
It is.
And honestly, looking at the specs we've pulled from Cadillac itself, Car and Driver, all those dealer deep dives from places like Covert and Blazius, it really seems like GM is trying to just delete the word compromise from the dictionary.
It's a bold move. I mean, we're talking about a vehicle that's trying to be a sports car, a limousine, and a backup generator for your house, all at the same time.
And doing it while weighing probably close to 9,000 pounds.
We will get to the weight, but our mission today is to help you, the listener, just wrap your head around the sheer scale of this thing. Because on paper, the numbers, they honestly look like typos.
They really do.
And if you're in the market for a six-figure SUV, we need to figure this out. Do you get the standard giant, the IQ, or the stretched giant, the IQL?
A battle of inches and ounces.
Exactly. So let's start where we have to with any EV, the battery, or I guess pop the floorboards. Where is the energy in this thing?
It's basically everywhere. This is built on GM's Ultium platform, and the number you really need to circle in your mind is 205.
205 kilowatt hours.
205.
Okay, I see that number on the spec sheet, but context is everything here. Is that a lot?
It's massive. Think about it like this. A standard Tesla Model Y, which you see everywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
That has a battery around 75, maybe 80 kilowatt hours.
Right.
The Escalade IQ is carrying nearly 3 times that amount of energy.
Wow, so it's basically hauling around 2 other electric cars worth of batteries just inside its own floor.
Essentially, yeah. It's a 24-module pack. And that massive tank is the only way you get a brick of this size to travel 465 miles.
465 miles, that's the Cadillac estimate.
And that's probably a conservative one, based on some of the analysis. If you look at the rest of Cadillac's EV lineup, the Lyric, the Optic, they're all in the 300-mile range.
So this is the king.
This is the undisputed range king. You could, theoretically, drive from Boston to D.C. without stopping.
Which just erases that biggest psychological barrier for buyers, right? Range anxiety.
Gone.
But moving that much mass, it requires serious grunt.
I'm looking at the motor specs. Velocity Max. What is that?
It sounds like a roller coaster, doesn't it?
It really does, but does it actually deliver?
Oh yeah, it's not just marketing fluff. We're talking 750 horsepower and 785 pound-feet of torque.
Whoa!
But the key thing is, it's not just the numbers, it's the delivery. In a gas engine, you wait for the revs to build up. In this, that torque is instantaneous. It will snap your head back.
0 to 60 in 4.7 seconds in a 7-seater. It's technically faster than a lot of dedicated sports cars from, say, 10 years ago. But again, it's an engineering brute force solution. They're not making the car light. They're just making the motors incredibly powerful to overcome all that mass.
That brings up a logistical question, though. If I have a 205 kilowatt battery, am I going to be parked at a charger until the next ice age?
That's the worry, right?
Yeah.
If you plug this into a standard wall outlet, a level 1 charger, yeah, you might be there for days. I mean, literally days.
So what's the fix?
It comes down to architecture. The Escalade IQ uses an 800-volt DC fast charging system.
Break that down for us. Why does 800 volts matter so much?
Think of it like water pressure. A standard EV system is usually 400 volts. By doubling the voltage to 800, you can push more power through with less heat and thinner wires. It's just more efficient. It lets the car gulp down electricity.
How fast are we talking?
If you can find a 350 kilowatt fast charger, and they're becoming more common, you can add over 100 miles of range in about 10 minutes.
Okay, that changes everything. 10 minutes is a bathroom break and grabbing a coffee.
Exactly. And for home charging, it comes with a 20-foot dual-level cord. So it works for level 1, your normal outlet, and level 2, which is more like your dryer outlet.
Yeah.
They've thought about the whole ecosystem.
So we've established it's fast, it goes forever, and it charges quickly. But here's where it gets interesting, and honestly, a little confusing. There are 2 of them, the IQ and the IQL. And I'm assuming the L doesn't stand for little.
Definitely not. Think long, large, maybe even limousine.
How much bigger can you possibly get? The standard one is already huge.
It's about 19 inches of extra length. The IQL clocks in at almost 229 inches, bumper to bumper.
19 inches. That's a 1.5 feet of extra car. Where does that even go? Is it just a bigger trunk?
It's a mix, but the real winner is the third row.
Yeah.
If you look at the dealership breakdowns, especially the one from modern Cadillac, they really highlight the legroom. The IQL gives you about 4.4 inches of extra legroom way in the back.
4.4 inches? That doesn't sound like a lot on paper.
It's massive when it's your knees we're talking about. It's the difference between having your knees pressed against the seat in front of you and, sitting like a normal human being. If you regularly have to haul adults or tall teenagers, the IQL is the only real choice.
Is there a way to tell them apart just by looking at them? Or do you need a tape measure?
There is a tell. You have to look at the C pillar. That's the pillar behind the rear doors. On the IQL, the whole rear end is more upright, almost boxier, and there's a full window between the rear pillars.
Ah.
Standard IQ has a thicker panel there.
So more glass, more boxy, better visibility, I guess.
Oh, significantly. It really opens up the cabin feel. But there is a catch.
Of course there is.
You don't get all that extra space for free. You pay for it in towing capacity.
Ah, the trade-off. What are we losing?
The standard IQ can tow 8,000 pounds. The IQL, the bigger one, drops to 7,500.
Because the car itself is heavier.
Exactly. The gross vehicle weight rating, the GVWR, is a fixed ceiling for safety. So if the car weighs more because of that extra steel and glass, you have less allowance left over for the trailer.
So that creates a very clear decision tree for the listener. If you have a massive boat that weighs, say, 700-800 pounds, you have to get the standard IQ.
Correct. You have to ask, do I prioritize maximum towing or maximum passenger comfort? If you're hauling a basketball team, get the IQL. If you're hauling a horse trailer, you stick with the IQ.
That makes sense. Okay, let's move inside. Because regardless of which length you choose, the interior sounds... Well, sci-fi is the only word that comes to mind.
It really is a digital cockpit.
Yeah.
The centerpiece, quite literally, is the dashboard.
The 55-inch screen.
The pillar-to-pillar 55-inch total diagonal LED display. It spans the entire width of the car.
Is it just one giant TV? Because that sounds incredibly distracting. A bit of a safety hazard, no.
No, and that's a common misconception. It's actually broken down into zones. You have your driver information center, your gauges, speed, range right in front of you.
Okay.
Then the center display, which runs Google, built-in maps, all that. But then there's the front seat media screen.
For the passenger.
For the passenger, exactly. And this addresses the distraction point. It has digital blinds.
Digital blinds, like physical shutters.
No, it's a polarized filter technology in the glass. The passenger can be watching a movie, streaming, whatever, and from the driver's angle, that part of the screen just looks dark. You literally can't see it.
That is very, very cool, and probably necessary for regulations.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But luxury isn't just about screens, it's about immersion.
Yeah.
And the audio specs on this thing are, frankly, ridiculous.
I saw the numbers. The standard system is 19 or 21 speakers. That's already more than most home theaters.
And that's the entry level. The upgrade is a 38-speaker AKG studio reference system.
38 speakers. Where do they even put them all?
Headrests, pillars, the ceiling, they're everywhere. But wait, if you get the executive second row package, that number bumps up to 42 speakers.
42. That is a concert hall on wheels. Tell me about this executive second row, because that sounds like where I want to be sitting.
It's basically designed to compete with first-class air travel. You get stowable tray tables, which are great for laptop. You get personal 12.6-inch screens for each rear passenger.
Nice.
Dual wireless charging pads.
Yeah.
And the seats. They heat, they ventilate, and they massage.
So you're getting a hot stone massage while watching a movie and charging your phone.
And being driven hands-free, yeah. Super Cruise comes standard. So the driver's having a pretty relaxed time, too.
We should probably touch on the trims. It looks like Cadillac's sticking to their familiar structure here.
Yeah, you have the luxury and sport as the base tracks.
Yeah.
Then you go up to premium luxury and premium sport. Prices are starting around $127,000, up to about $132,000 for the IQL starting price. But, options will push that higher.
It's a six-figure investment, but, and this is where it gets really interesting, this vehicle might actually pay you back in a way, or at least save you in a disaster. We need to talk about what I think is the real hidden feature. We've talked about it as a car, but the sources, especially that note from Blaze's Cadillac, treat it as something else entirely.
You're talking about V2H, vehicle to home.
This is the part that just blows my mind, because we just said this thing has a 205 kilowatt-hour battery. My house has one of those battery backup things, and it's maybe 13 kilowatt hours.
And that's the scale difference. Your car is carrying 15 of those home batteries.
So what happens when the power goes out?
Well, If you have the right gear, and this is key, you need the GM Energy Cloud Kit, the bidirectional charger, the transfer switch. The car stops being a drain on the grid, and it becomes the grid.
Walk me through the math. A winter storm hits, power's out. How long am I running my house?
The average American home uses about 30 kilowatt hours a day. So simple division, 205 divided by 30, you're looking at nearly a week of full house power.
A week? Without changing any of my habits?
Roughly, yeah. Now, if you get smart about it, turn off the pool pump, maybe don't run the dryer, the dealer guide suggests you could stretch that to 21 days.
3 weeks. That's survival. That's not just an inconvenience anymore.
It's energy security. And think about the difference versus a gas generator. No noise, no fumes, no hunting for jerry cans of gas in a blizzard. You just plug your house into your car.
But even when there isn't a storm, there's a financial angle, right? This peak shaving thing.
This is for the savvy homeowner. In a lot of places, electricity is way more expensive in the evening, like that 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. window.
Right, when everyone gets home and cranks the AC.
Exactly. So you program the system to run your house off the Escalade's battery during those expensive hours. Then you recharge the car from the grid at 2 a.m. when power is cheap.
You're basically doing energy arbitrage with your SUV.
You are. And if you have solar, it gets even better. You store all that free midday sun in the car's battery and use it at night. The car becomes an active part of your home's economy, not just a depreciating asset in the garage.
It shifts the vehicle from being a liability in a storm, I have to find gas, to being a literal lifeline.
It's a mobile power station that just happens to have leather seats and 42 speakers.
Okay, let's sum this all up. We've covered a lot. The 2026 Cadillac Escalade IQ and IQL, it really seems to be defined by one word: excess.
Excess in the best way possible. Excess range, 465 miles, is just industry leading for this class. Excess screen, 55 inches, is panoramic. And excess utility towing, 8,000 pounds, or powering your house for a week.
And for the listener trying to decide between the two models,
It really comes down to a simple lifestyle audit. Do you need that extra 500 pounds of towing capacity?
go with the standard IQ.
Yes, stick with the standard IQ. It's slightly easier to park, though. Easy is a relative term here. And it tows more.
But if you have teenagers or VIP clients or just tall friends,
Then you go for the IQL. That 4.4 inches of third-row legroom is the difference between the third row being a penalty box and it being a genuine luxury seat. Plus, you get the extra cargo space.
it really feels like we're crossing some kind of threshold here. We've seen electric SUVs, we've seen luxury SUVs. This feels different.
It does. It feels like the moment where maybe no compromises are being asked of the buyer. You don't lose range, you don't lose size, you don't lose power.
And that leads me to a final thought for everyone listening. We spend so much time thinking about cars as just things that get us from A to B. But when you have a vehicle like this with a battery that dwarfs your home's daily energy needs, are we looking at the end of the car as just transportation?
It's a fascinating question.
Are we starting to view them as mobile utility grids that just happen to have seats? I mean, if your car can power your house for a week, is it an accessory for your home, or is your home a docking station for your car?
I think we're going to see that line get a lot blurrier in the next few years.
Something to think about while you check the measurements of your garage. Thanks for listening to this deep dive on the 2026 Cadillac Escalade IQ and IQL.
Drive safe.